If there was a company that did historical tours via time travel, what trips would be in high demand? Walking with dinosaurs. Jesus' birth. It would be so high demand that all the hotels in the area would be full. Wait. You might be onto something here. The new star was nothing but the time ship loading and unloading passengers. Pre-eruption Pompeii. Wonder which Redditor tour member got left behind as that masturbating guy. Dude's a legend, he saw the world ending around him and just said duck it, guess I'll rub one out real quick. Maybe he searched all his life for his kink only to find it was erupting volcanoes that got his rocks off. That's one thick looking boulder. So I was hanging out in ancient Pompeii, wondering why boulders look thicker the closer they get. Then it hit me. Edit, joke shamelessly stolen from Stuart Francis. Demand would rise and fall with movies and TV series, and there would likely be much more historical-based series. I think many of the big battles via history would be popular. Therese, also a period of unknown in our history, I can see people going back. And studying lost civilizations too. Edit, wow, that's my inbox blown up. Today was a really crappy day for me, just in a low place, so it was a great surprise to read all the comments here, thank you. I'd want to see how civilizations from Mesopotamia looked like at their peaks. Assyria, Babylon, it all fascinates me and there's so much still left to mystery there. Seeing the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, or the Colossus of Rhodes. Just seeing if they were real, and if so, visiting them would be incredible, yes. Or maybe seeing the fabled Australia from folktale. Therese, no way the land of upside down is actually real. Yeah, nah, we're fake. A trip to the Roman Empire. We'd be able to meet historical figures such as Augustus, Caesar, Brutus and Bigus Dickus. He has a wife, you know. Incontinentia. Incontinentia buttocks. Stoicum sensuin, vui wuffly. Should I throw him to the floor, sir? Yeth. Throw him to the floor. Wapscallion. I'd like to go back and hear Beethoven play. The people who know him today are most aware of his compositions, and he was a brilliant composer, but by some historical accounts, he was a far better player. When he first arrived in Vienna, his reputation preceded him, and the musicians of the day set out to challenge him to a contest to test his skills. One of them said, "We mean to hew him to pieces." Afterwards, the same person said, "Oh, that man has a devil." He improvised airs on a theme I gave him as I have never heard even Mozart play. Mozart himself allegedly said, "Keep your eye on that fellow. One day he'll give the world something to talk about." Seeing him play live versus watching his works would be like the difference between seeing Hendrix play guitar versus seeing an orchestra play his compositions. All those amazing performances are lost to time. I'd like to see one. Edited to fix spelling mistake and thank mysterious stranger for gold. Mosh pit at the Beethoven concert? Alright pussies, I wanna see a mother ducking circle pit. This next song's called Fr Elise. You mother duckers better make the biggest wall of death this concert hall has ever seen. Imagining a wall of death at a classical show is really cracking me up right now. Excuse me whilst I head to Roswell, New Mexico. I have a weather balloon I want to see. Edit. I'm at home with a really bad cold and I fell asleep for an hour and this blew up. Some of the comments have given me a really good laugh whilst I cough myself to death and consider going from Lemsip to Lemsip max strength. Plot twist, you are the weather balloon. And your own grandpa. What about these cookies, sugar banana tits? This was one of my absolute favorite lines from the whole series. Woodstock would probably be a big hit. Again. Actually, only 1,000 people or so were the original attendees. Those other thousands were just time travelers. Time travelers in their own minds anyway. I imagine lots of Anglophiles would want to visit Victorian England and then hate it after 5 minutes. Edit, it makes me very happy that my top comment of all time has many comments about poop and syphilis. Warms my heart. I could see a ball being fun, but for the most part everything pre-1950 is going to be gross, philically and otherwise, for most people. Did people wipe their asses? I read accounts of Clevelanders traveling to Europe on business trips in the early 1900s, and then they would take TP with them because it wasn't as common across the pond. Cleveland was also the 5th largest city at the time. You don't need TP when you got Mad B days. Just ducking, imagine what the Titanic would be like. A huge line of people queuing up to do the Titanic pose at the front of the ship, and then all the contemporary people asking WTF is going on. A trip to the Alexandrian Library, before its knowledge was lost at it, apostrophe. Best practice that ancient Egyptian then? Ancient Greek would be a great deal more useful. Don't need to speak to burn and loot stuff. Boys, we found him. The Lost Colony of Roanoke. I'm gonna write Croatoan on a tree to duck with people. Dude, that's not how you spell Croatian. Dukov, Vladimir, the time bubble is about to close. Childhood. Why would I want to go to Roman times, or ancient Egypt where I can't speak the language and I'm carrying viruses that will kill everyone? I want to go back to when I was 5 or 6. I want to walk down my old street, I want to bump into my parents as they walk down that street, maybe with me in the pram, pat myself of the head and tell my parents he's a cute one. I want to roam around for a day as an adult and experience that time in a way I couldn't as a child. I want to spend a day in the familiarity of my childhood through my eyes now and see what it looks like to recharge the memory as little by little I lose more and more. My 4-year-old daughter asked me last night, "What was your favorite toy when you were a kid?" Your comment hits home for me as I honestly don't remember much of my childhood. Going back to the Trojan War. I want to see if Helen was as hot as they say she is. I always wondered how high those standards were. I always wonder how hot historically super hot people were in general. Don't people get taller and better looking every generation because technically we're getting further away from cavemen, so like was Cleopatra just a really crude looking short lady? Also Mona Lisa isn't hot, and wasn't she super hot for the day? I'm explaining this like a 14-year-old boy, sorry. Beatles concerts. That's why Terry's so little high quality footage. World War II seems popular as a lot of people want to try to stop Hitler. Probably momentous times in human history. Imagine if you were on the Titanic and someone said it'll be gone tomorrow. This bitch is gonna hit an iceberg the next day. It's gonna duck you up even if you don't believe in time travelers. Do you want Command and Conquer, Red Alert? Because this is how you get Command and Conquer, Red Alert. More specifically, do you want Command and Conquer, period? Tiberium Dawn and its following events only happen in a universe where the Soviets won the Red Alert conflict. Italy around 1500. Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, and Michelangelo all working, frequently in the same cities. Mostly either Florence for the Medici or in Rome for the Pope. I also would like to meet the Ninja Turtles. The life of Moses, Jesus and Muhammad alone would make that company a trillionaire. Personally, I'd like to witness the marriage at Canaan. It's the one example in the Bible of a miracle Jesus performed as purely a party trick. The classical water to wine trick. The German tour. A tour through the history of the region. Start with Germanic tribes, move through the Holy Roman Empire, past the creation of modern Germany, and culminating with kicking Hitler in the nuts. Nut. You and your friends may have heard a rumor that Hitler only has one ball. This is nonsense. He has 4. That's such a good movie. I'm feeling Pompeii would be popular so you could see the before and after effects via time travel. If you are feeling exceptionally adventurous, you could turn the site into a minigame to see how many of your tourists could survive the volcanic eruption on their own. If they die, use time travel and save them, saying that they didn't make it. If they survive, give them a pat on the back and then go on your way to see the Titanic next. That's an even more messed up and expensive escape room. It'll be huge.